Fading future, shattered dreams. End of times ain't what it seems.
Hello, friends. This is Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today's June 11th, 2026. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. We have Ruckus on the line, so I'm going to get through the intro as quick as I can here. We won the Iran war again on day 104 for the 38th time. Trump says he's going to blow up Iran earlier in the day. Then he said no bombing. Then he said a peace deal's in the works. Iran says we don't even know who you're talking to, bro. You know what I mean? So there's a bunch of conflicting reports. We'll get to all of that for you today. I don't see how they can do a deal when Aardvark continues the genocide there in Gaza and Lebanon. That's a sticking point for Iran. They've said it. I mean, it's like we got to keep playing this gaslighting market manipulation game that the Trump administration, Trump himself, keeps playing here. We'll cover all those details, the failings of America 250, Trump's 80th birthday celebration, what a monstrosity all of this has become. All these celebrities say they don't want anything to do with it. They're at least smart enough to know, yeah, don't hitch your wagon to Trump because he's taking everything down with him and all this corruption. We'll take a look at that. We have, what do we got? More data center news, big protest against Elon Musk in New York City as he's trying to become the first trillionaire. Take a look at that. And we have, what else do we got? We got World Cup kicked off today. Take a look at the police state measures keeping everyone safe for the World Cup. We have geopolitical news. We have public health news, ARPA-H, brains. We'll take a look at that. Ukraine saying that Russia shot another hypersonic missile. I don't know. I don't think so, honestly. Putin said they're not shooting them. I don't think they are. Maybe they are. I don't know. I don't think they are. And then we'll take a look at these dirty Christians there in the occupied West Bank, how they deserve to be run off their land and probably murdered by ultra-Zionists because it's their divine will. And then how we'll get Ruckus' take on, do these Christians deserve it? According to Christian Zionists, MAGAs here in America, they do. So we'll take a look at all of that and much more on this Thursday. Even the Pope is saying that stop the war, but probably need to whack the Pope too. I'm sure Aardvarks would support that. So we'll take a look at all that and much more on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. Let's get to this day in history, try to blast through this as quick as we can. We didn't have much in the Wayback machine of time here on this day of much significance. So we fast forward to 1742 on this day. Benjamin Franklin invents the Franklin stove, a metal-lined fireplace insert that improves indoor heating and uses less wood than an open hearth. The Franklin stove. 1742 on this day. And then 1776, America 250, Trump's vanity project to divide America even further. But on this day in 1776, we saw the Continental Congress appoint a committee to draft the Declaration of Independence with Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Roger Sherman, and Robert R. Livingston as members. On this day in 1793, we saw the first American stove is granted a patent to inventor Robert Hoderick. There's like an E in there. I think maybe silent. Anyhow, I'm sure on the back of Benjamin Franklin's stove there. 1816 on this day, literal gaslight company of Baltimore was founded. Not the PSYOPs lying gaslighting that Trump and the White House and all these politicians do to us nonstop, literal gaslight, like to use for lighting. Things are getting very confusing here as we are plunging further into dystopia, and they're destroying the meaning of words as we go as well, part of the agenda here now, so we can't even communicate. Censorship, destroying the meaning of words. We'll get to all that. Continuing, on this day in 1837, the Broad Street riot occurs in Boston, Massachusetts, fueled by ethnic tensions between English Americans and Irish Americans. 1837. Can we bring back the white boy riots? No, not so much here. They are rioting over there in Ireland, though. So they brought it back in Ireland. Maybe we could bring back white boy riots this summer in America. What the hell? Everybody else riots. On this day, 1878, and this ties in with Trump's threats to do a federal takeover of Washington, D.C. On this day in 1878, Washington, D.C. is given a new government by Congress, 3 commissioners appointed by the president, and they did not change that till 1974. So they were underneath that three commissioners rule for what, almost 100 years, 96 years, something like this. And may be under a federal martial law before we know it here. And so that'll be wonderful. 1898, on this day, Spain declares war against the United States. On this day in the year 1900, we saw the Boxer Rebellion. David Beatty and 150 men from HMS Barfleur Island, as part of a force of 2,400 defending Tientsin from 15,000 Chinese troops plus Boxers. On this day in 1935, the inventor Edwin Armstrong gives the first public demonstration of FM broadcasting in the United States at Alpine, New Jersey. On this day in 1963, they did have a bunch of riots over it, right? The whole segregation, civil rights. On this day in 1963, Governor George Wallace tries to prevent blacks from registering at the University of Alabama. Also on this day in 1963, then President John F. Kennedy says segregation is morally wrong and that it is time to act. On this day in 1979, Chuck Berry, rock and roll singer, pleads guilty to income tax evasion, sentenced to 4 months in prison. On this day in 1982, and he's still pumping it today. Project Bluebeam, I don't know. You tell me. None of the government UFO disclosures disclose jack crap. Some blurry images that could be whatever. But on this day in 1982, Steven Spielberg film E.T. the Extraterrestrial was released. Now he's doing this disclosure day, still trying to pump these alien psyops on the population. We do appreciate those efforts, and undermining Christianity along the way. We do appreciate their Zionist efforts in that regard. On this day in 1990, a federal judge sentenced former National Security Advisor John M. Poindexter to 6 months in jail for making false statements to Congress. Back when they acted like at least you may get in trouble working for the government, like you have to follow the law. They at least acted like it in 1990. Now it's just, don't be a panicking. It's just beyond, we're beyond the pale here. Law and order democracy. Yeah, the DOJ's covering up the Epstein files continually here. On this day in 2004, we saw Ronald Reagan's funeral is held at Washington National Cathedral. And on this day 2 years ago in 2024, and we'll get to this segue, they're running a big Hunter Biden psyop right now. Hunter Biden's son of U.S. President Joe Biden is convicted in Willington, Delaware on 3 felony charges related to buying a gun in 2018. I do believe he was summarily pardoned by his father, Joe Biden, so I don't think much sticks to him either. And then on this day in our civil liberties history, we had a couple events. Joint Amnesty Committee formed to seek release of prisoners, World War I dissidents. On this day, 1922, the ACLU Fellowship of Recognition, Federal Council of Churches, I can't even pronounce that, clothing workers, and other organizations on this day announced the formation of the Joint Amnesty Committee to coordinate the campaign for amnesty for people who were convicted for their political views during World War I. Can't happen in America. They already rounded up American citizens. They already put American citizens in prison for their speech a long freaking time ago. Don't tell me tyranny can't come to these shores. It's already here and been here for over a freaking 100 years. But I guess if you're reading Epstein Maxwell textbooks at your school, you would know none of this, right? That's by design, your Rockefeller education system. On this day in our civil liberties history, 1990, Supreme Court declares federal flag burning law unconstitutional. You can burn an American flag, but God forbid you burn an aardvark flag. They'll send in an airstrike against you, or a drone strike now, I guess. We've moved up the technological ladder. And then here's our segue to the news. PSYOP they're running now. I guess the only thing that can save us from our dystopic future is a Gavin Newsom, Hunter Biden 2028 presidential ticket. Here's the latest PSYOP.
I'm joined today by presidential candidate Hunter Biden, 2028. Come on, Hunter. What's going on?
No.
You got more buzz out there than you got the President of the United States, Donald Trump, talking about your candidacy for President of the United States.
I had to give you a break for just one day at least. Look, here's the deal. I'll run, but only as your VP, because the truth of the matter is the vice president's residence is a lot cooler. It's a lot easier job too.
Marcus, how you doing on this Thursday? Thank you for joining us.
Good. Also, as we know from history, that in certain cases you can be VP and shoot someone in the face with a shotgun, and then not only have to not apologize, but they will apologize to you. Fun.
So,
anyways,
Gavin Newsom. So you're going to be campaigning for Hunter Biden and Gavin Newsom?
Yeah, of course. That was shocking. That reminds me of this pair right here. I mean, you were doing your On This Day in History. There was something that important happened on this day in history. At some day, some year, at some point on this day, Dr. Oz was born. So happy birthday, Dr. Oz, from Senator Kennedy. Oh, whoops. There you go. Kind of my version of it, of course, because, those two are just a pair of grifters, 2 peas in one pod, as they say. And speaking of 2 peas from the same pod, Gavin and Biden. Wow. Could you imagine that, and we would have to vote for them too. Obviously, I mean, everybody, we could, just because it's not Trump, right, or whoever they're going to push forward, because everybody's sick of that. So, I mean, it's like basically anyone that they want to push forward now on the left side, just sit down and think about the fact that you're probably going to go out there and vote for them just because they're not Trump or whatever the Trump fill-in is. That's really sad. Gavin, Michelle Obama, you name it. But Hunter Biden, to bring in another Biden would just be, you know what, actually, that would be so perfect. And in fact, I think he should be the headliner, to be completely honest with you. In fact, I think it would be great if it was Hunter Biden for president, Michelle Obama for VP, but she comes out of whatever it is that she's got going on there that makes her look so, nice and tough and sturdy, if you know what I mean. And then that might garner extra favor in her department. And yeah, just don't question anything about her, his husband, whatever. Yeah,
There's threats everywhere to Trump. I don't know what we're going to do. Probably take over DC. Here's authorities are investigating 8647 written in the grass on the National Mall. Let's watch this report from the War Channel, Fox News. It's extremely concerning. I'm scared.
The vantage point, we can see down the National Mall, the numbers 8647 appeared in the green grass not far from the World War II memorial. We don't know how extensive this damage is and whether this is easily repairable, but it's not just the vandalism that's notable, it's the message. 8647 has become a mainstream way to show disgust with President Trump.
That's a mainstream way, didn't they? It wasn't that the excuse they used to indict Comey was the seashells 8647. I don't think that's a mainstream way to be expressing your disgust with Trump. Honestly, they're trying to set people up on Fox News for crying out loud. Don't buy the setup. Don't be posting 8647. They indicted Comey over it. At least acted like they indicted him over it.
Yeah, and they're really trying to. It's the aliens, not the illegal aliens.
Was that crop circles?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm like, I've seen this before somewhere, haven't I? Where could it be? Where have I seen something like this before? So clearly the aliens, the extraterrestrial bros and dudettes, whatever you want to call them, the little gray men, the Nordics who are living amongst us, apparently, according to the UFO files. What a joke. Yeah, clearly they observe what's happening here. They see, well, Trump's unpopular. They're just getting out ahead of it. And they saw this was being a viral meme on social media, and they just thought, hey, let's be cool. They thought this was how you say hello, so they did a flyby, and they did a crop circle 8647. Yeah, there we go. That makes perfect sense, right?
Aliens continue to set the trend. Let's hear now from Little Marco how Trump's vanity project of half-naked bloody men, his homoerotic fantasy for his 80th birthday, is a gift to the American people. Here's Secretary of State Little Marco Rubio explaining it to the people with brain damage from getting punched in the head too much.
The White House is the people's house. It belongs to the people of the United States. The American 250 celebration belongs to the people of the United States. And there are millions and millions of Americans from all walks of life that are not necessarily attuned to politics or the financial markets or anything else, but they love the sport. And every Saturday, we got a big event once a month. They're tuning in and they're watching, and they host.
He's called UFC fans morons, basically, right there. They're not attuned to politics or economics or basically anything, but they do enjoy watching men get punched in the face extremely hard.
Now, this echoes from history as well. What could it possibly be? Well, they did do a mighty fine job of resurrecting that Colosseum now, didn't they? Bread and circuses, everybody. Gladiator games. Well, this is, right? This is simulated gladiator games. Well, extremely homoerotic version of it, nonetheless, as you pointed out. Shocking.
Here's UFC in time-lapse speed up of building this monstrosity that Trump's saying now they may not even take down. It may be a permanent structure on the White House lawn. Freaking rad, huh?
Yeah, Yeah. I can see them keeping it. I see where this is headed. They'll use this for all this like debacle and blood sport type games, bread and circuses during the remaining time under the current administration, and or possibly the next, or for however long the elections may get suspended due to some sort of wartime emergency or whatever. Anyways, there's always that possibility, kids. Look it up. Thank you, Bill Clinton. So what would happen when the changing of the guard comes around? Do you think they would knock it down? Oh, no, I believe they would keep it. And then they would use it to execute all the Trump supporters and the people that voted for him and the current administration. They'll probably do a giant public execution there. And then they'll keep doing that sort of thing as a debacle, like show of power. And then when the next administration comes in, which of course will be the aliens and the robots, they will use that just for amusement to let us fight each other to the death over a scrap of, like, you know, a bug or something like that, right? A soy cake. Yeah, there you go.
Hebrew cricket.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, have you seen the movie Hunger Games? Anyone? Where's the outrage from MAGA? I thought we hated Bud Light because that transgender individual is promoting it. Now Bud Light is sponsoring the UFC fight there. Where's the MAGA outrage, Ruckus?
I thought Ben Shapiro was tight with MAGA. Oh wait. Oh, never mind. Sorry, I got. Sorry.
Bud Light.
They look similar. The Dylan Mulvaney. There you go.
Here,
Sorry.
look. Remember,
not Ben Shapiro. My bad.
This character. Well, are they the same person? That is a question that should probably be asked. But yeah, remember the outrage about this transgender individual promoting Bud Light, and MAGA had to have a conniption fit. We're boycotting Bud Light. And
I hate to be a nitpicker. There's no way that person is a transgender. If anything, they're just like some sort of weird cross-dresser or cosplayer. But anyway, sorry.
They claim to be transgender, don't they?
They ain't snipping nothing off. They ain't changing nothing. They ain't getting any modifications. They ain't doing nothing, I assure you. They have yet to do anything like that.
So it was all just a psyop, huh?
I'm pretty sure that dude's probably a serious grifter. He probably regrets it, too. Probably backfired.
Bud Light sponsoring the event. Where's the MAGA outrage?
I was really convinced he was going to come out as a troll, like, haha, gotcha, or something like that, but that never happened.
This monstrosity of bread and circuses is going to cost $60 million, and 7 federal agencies required to stage Trump's UFC fight at the White House. That's a report out of the Associated Press. So I'm glad that they're sparing no expense for Trump's. It's become a vanity project for Trump's 80th birthday. This is no celebration uniting America for our 250th anniversary of independence as it's been sold to the American people. It's a complete and utter farce. There could be nothing more divisive than Trump at this point.
They're really trying to sell this as being, this is going to unite people?
That's how they tried to sell it initially, yeah.
All right. Sure. At least to give a reason. I mean, there's many instances where they offer no reason for, like, when they murder fishermen in their speedboats in Colombia, etc. Oh,
we got a story about that. There may have been a trafficking victim on one of these boats that they killed. So we got.
Of course, meant Venezuela. Sorry.
Oh man. Well, a little bit. Trump can't get any celebrities to go hang out with him. A bunch of celebrities have said no when invited to UFC Freedom 250 event scheduled this Saturday, June the 14th, on Trump's 80th birthday. Or I guess it would be Sunday, actually. So celebrity snubs to the event. Dana White, the president of UFC, has publicly boasted a star-studded guest list, which I get. How do you determine who's an A-lister anyway? Saying Dwayne Rock Johnson, Adam Sandler, Jared Leto, Tom Brady, Guy Ritchie, Jason Statham, and Mario Lopez were all going to attend. Turns out they all turned them down. And so they will not be attending there. Any of these, quote, A-list celebrities that were touted as being part of the star-powered cast of characters for this event.
You know, I'm not surprised. I am mildly surprised to hear The Rock included on that. But hearing the list that they had of the musical artists who backed out, I was like, oh my God, these are all these washed up like '90s bands that everybody's forgotten about, etc. So yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't think I would consider the vast majority of those names in A-list celebrity as in current. Certainly. Maybe each of them had their moments, but yeah, I guess maybe only The Rock might be like a household name and be like, and people might agree and nod their head, yeah, A-list celebrity. But the rest, I don't know, man. And Jason Statham, God bless him, he's really good for nothing but like good.
Oh, he might come.
He could do direct to yeah. I mean, like yeah, all of them, he would do it. I bet
he might come because the confirmed no's so far are The Rock, Adam Sandler, Jared Leto, and Mario Lopez. Confirmed no. So still potential could come. Tom Brady, Guy Ritchie, and Statham, Jason Statham.
And so Jared Leto.
There's still a chance he may attend.
I think Leto's like he's got like a cult or something that he runs in his free time. So, you know, he can't attend.
And he bought the freaking Laurel Canyon MK Ultra mind control freaking facility in freaking
that guy's crazy.
That's crazy. But
I'm pretty sure he will be coming up in a news story sometime in the near future.
So nobody went. Trump's toxic beyond imagination. Maybe someday, somehow, his supporters would realize this fact. But the very large majority of people have grown to really dislike Trump, to put it mildly here now. Even the New York Knicks game, they claim he was that he put a curse on them. And actually last night they won, and they're saying that Taylor Swift attending the game lifted the Trump curse, causing them to win in the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history, coming back from 29 points down and winning against the San Antonio Spurs last night, Ruckus, with Trump not in attendance.
You had me until Taylor Swift. That's ridiculous, but amusing.
Take a look at this. Take a look at this. That's why I told you that, because I found it rather amusing myself. It's so ridiculous. The White House reposted this. Rainbow reflection shines in the reflecting pool there. What do we make of this?
Happy Pride Month.
On Pride Month, a rainbow, and it stops at the Washington Monument. Like, I don't know. They say this is a real photo. I don't know. I'm skeptical of everything I see now. Everyone should be.
Well, you know, I hate to be that guy that reminds certain people out there, in case you forgot, that the rainbow is allegedly, according to tales, the covenant made by God after he destroyed the world with a great flood. And that was his promise that he would never destroy the world again with a flood. Instead, he's going to destroy it with fire. Fun.
Well, that sounds like a bigoted comment. That will strike from the record here. So should the feds just declare martial law there in D.C.? That's what Trump is threatening here now. Let's watch this clip. He says if the crazy socialist running for mayor of Washington, D.C. wins, then the feds are going to take over. So take your pick. Socialism, fascism. What's the difference? Is there any? Probably not. With a gun pointed in your face by the man. Let's hear Trump threatening to essentially declare martial law if a socialist mayor wins in D.C.
Here in Washington, D.C., there's a Democratic primary for mayor. One of the two leading candidates, Janice Lewis-George, is running a Zoran Mandami campaign. It's focused on socialist policies. How would you feel if she emerges victorious in next Tuesday's?
Well, I wouldn't like it, and maybe we'd take back Washington, run it on the federal basis. We won't put up with it. We're not going to lose our businesses.
Does Trump even know what socialism means?
He's a socialist himself, actually, but the MAGAs are blinded by their cult of personality to even recognize his policies are very, very socialist, actually.
Well, they might be something worse than that, but anyways.
They're They're technocratic, actually. So
and tyrannical, and he acts very much like a king, and
a fascist.
Also an emperor. He's a little bit fascist. Not that we would be anti such things ever.
Don't be against it, or you're on a list. You're a freaking terrorist if you're against this level of corruption. Trump holds all the cards, the White House tells us, in regards to Iran. We are stopping a very evil nation which has killed thousands of our people. Now we have Iran in the ultimate position. They have no choice. That's what the White House posts. Really?
Well, when you have no choice, what are you going to do, right? So, touche. You win this round, Trump.
Earlier today, it's been a big back and forth, and it pisses me off too. I wish Trump would just go away because it's messing up my news cycle, my news feed, because whenever he has a press conference, all the news sites got to post freaking all these clips. I'm like, I don't even care what this fool says anymore. Just, you know what I mean? But okay, so Trump, back and forth waffle, Taco Trump on a Thursday, said earlier today, the United States will be hitting Iran, whose Navy, Air Force, radar, anti-aircraft, and all other forms of defense together with most of its offensive capability are gone very hard tonight. He posted that earlier today. And then so everybody said, wow, we're getting ready to launch a major bombing campaign against Iran. Well, it turns out I
started digging a bunker in my backyard. I was worried, man.
I started looking around for the potassium iodide and for a quick trip to the bunker, all of that. But no, turns out then he turns around and says we're not. But back to yesterday, there was major bombings going on. We did bomb Iran. And it's been confirmed we blew up some public water reservoirs over there in Iran, which is a war crime targeting civilian infrastructure. And so that has been confirmed. That was one of the strikes. The U.S. Central Command tells us the strikes on Iran, U.S. forces complete latest strikes in Iran. This was yesterday. They tell us out of U.S. Central Command, forces completed additional self-defense strikes. I love their Orwellian language against multiple targets in Iran yesterday, June 10th, at the Commander-in-Chief's direction. CENTCOM forces launched strikes on Iranian military surveillance capabilities, communication systems, and air defense sites across Iran. They left out the part about targeting the public water supply. Their U.S. Marine Corps, Air Force, and Navy assets fired precision munitions at Iranian targets that posed a threat to U.S. forces and international commercial ships transiting regional waters. The strikes are in response to Iran's unwarranted and continued aggression. U.S. forces remain vigilant, lethal, and ready.
I'm so confused. How are they being aggressive? In what way? Like, what is Iran using to be aggressive? Because
the latest thing that kicked, supposedly they hit our Apache helicopter with a Shahed drone and took it down, and that's what kicked off. That's what kicked off the latest. We're going to bomb you back in retaliation for taking down our helicopter. But you should have never had your country by our military bases, Navy, and airspace in the first place. Iran, you damn terrorist.
Right. But again, I'm confused because according to, who is this guy? Somebody named Donald J. Trump.
Commander-in-Chief.
Yeah, this guy, whoever he is, he says, according to him, that the United States has, says here, Iran, right here, it says Iran's says Navy, Air Force, radar, anti-aircraft, and all other forms of defense, together with most of its offensive capability, are gone. So if that's true...
That was after they downed our Apache helicopter with one of their drones.
Oh, okay. So since conveniently the Apache helicopter took the drone out, that was their last one. And
no, the drone took the Apache out.
Well, I know, but that had to have been Iran's last drone, right? I mean, because they have no army, they have no navy, they have zero
No, according to our own
capability.
intelligence community, they're just as capable or even more capable now than when the war started, Ruckus.
Well, shoot, Sam, maybe somebody should tell this guy then, right?
I don't
Just
know
saying.
are they. And then the question is out there: is Trump this dumb? Is he just playing along with this whole thing? Are they running psyops on Trump, which could also be a possibility? So
Okay. Listen, I was thinking about that the other day. Let me see if I can get this right, because that is the popular theory: is that there's still people clinging onto that last little bit of hopium in the pipe, right? They scrape the bowl and they're like, I got just a little piece left. I'm gonna crinkle it up in some tin foil and fire that up in a light bulb or whatever they do with that stuff. I have no idea. I don't like to smoke hopium.
they inject it right in their neck with a syringe,
right in their third eye, right?
Yeah.
Listen, so that's the idea, is that, well, maybe they're feeding Trump bad information, right? Well, if that's the case, when we saw the booing during the Knicks game, that shit-eating grin on his face and him just standing there proves to you and me and everybody right there, beyond a shadow of doubt, that he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows what's going on. He understands that everyone hates him. Otherwise, if he truly, in his twisted head, believed all of the things that he says, including the fact that everybody effing loves him and that he's great, right? Which is presumably part of the theory would be like, you're awesome. Everything's going great. You're the best, right? And feeding his ego. Wouldn't that have caught him by surprise? Don't you think he would have reacted a little bit differently?
Very true. That's a good point.
I'm saying.
If he didn't know that he's a conniving, corrupt, evil bastard, then that would have shook him. But he had that shit-eating grin, like you say. He knows.
And was that his granddaughter who was with him too? There, yeah, she had an odd look on her face that was very telling too, and I can't necessarily describe it.
Genuinely shocked because she's not in the loop of evil as much as Trump is. But yeah.
So I'm just saying, I found the whole thing very bizarre. If we're to believe that Trump is still, he thinks he's doing the right thing. No, he knows he's not doing the right thing.
You can go back to his first administration where he proudly proclaims himself king of aardvark land. We reported on it. And so it goes way back. I know MAGA's blind and we're freaking haters for pointing these things out. But, dude, it's over the top. Okay, so after all of that, now we called off the bombing. And so everybody get out of your bunkers. You don't have to take your potassium iodide. Everything's cool. Here's the latest. Based on the fact that discussions with the Islamic Republic of Iran have been brought to the highest level of Iranian leadership and approved, I have, as President of the United States of America, canceled the scheduled strikes and bombings against Iran this evening. Discussions and final points have been in both concept and great detail approved by all parties involved, including the United States, aardvark land, that's a flat out lie, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Turkey, Pakistan, Bahrain, Kuwait, Jordan, Egypt, and others. He left out Iran, the guys we're in a war with, but the naval blockade will remain in full force and effect until this transaction is finalized. Time and place of the signing to be announced shortly. Is that a bag of ticks?
So I don't need these then. Oh, okay, I almost ripped into.
No, you still do. The Iranian side said that. Well, there's a few conflicting reports, but they basically say there's no deal. What are you talking about, bro? The Iran's. Well, they're fighting over Strait of Hormuz still. Let me get to the hex. What Iran's reply to this, I wanted to cover a little bit. Well, before President Trump made that announcement, Iran put out a statement, and it looks like this was Trump's counter statement to that, possibly. They say, this is from who's this from Iran State. Before President Trump announced on social media that he had canceled a planned U.S. strike on Iran, Iran's Katam, I can't even pronounce it, state-run media in Iran warned that any renewed American attack would trigger, quote, a more severe response than before, referencing regional oil and gas infrastructure and saying that the flames of war will spread and become more widespread. In a statement carried by to Sam News, the military command accused Washington of undermining negotiations through military action. It declared that either oil and gas exports are for everyone or they will be impossible for everyone. So they're saying, Iran basically said, we're blowing the whole place up. You guys want to keep going here with all this. We're going to target your bases. We're going to target the petroleum infrastructure of all these countries that your bases are in, and so on. And so that statement right here was put out before Trump backed off on the big bombing campaign right here. They lay it all out. And so does that have something to do with Trump taco effect?
No, because clearly all sides involved are coming from two separate universes. One, probably the Iran side, is coming from solely grounded in reality. And Trump, I have no clue what's going on over there, buddy. Nobody does.
The same news agency said U.S. President Donald Trump has once again claimed that progress in negotiations has led Washington to cancel a planned attack, noting that Trump has repeatedly declared an agreement to be imminent. In the past 2 months, the agency argued that until any potential understanding is officially announced by Iran, Trump's statements should not be viewed in the context of his claims. So basically, don't listen. Meanwhile, Far's news agency, citing a source close to Iran's negotiating team, reported that Iran has not approved any memorandum of understanding with the United States, despite Trump's claims that a draft agreement had been accepted at the highest levels. Far said a draft text had been largely finalized weeks ago, but negotiations stalled after Washington sought to add new provisions that Iran refused to consider. The agency added that recent Qatari mediation led the U.S. to withdraw those additional demands and return to the original draft, while stressing that Iran has yet to provide final approval and rejecting narratives that Tehran accepted a deal under military pressure.
What does Iran know about Iran anyways? That's probably just propaganda coming from Iran.
They accepted the deal. I know they did. Oh man, it's getting deep. The Iranian National, the IRGC says they targeted 5 U.S. military bases yesterday in Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain, were where those attacks happened. What, two in Kuwait and 2 in Bahrain and 1 in Jordan? They say Iran says they targeted yesterday. Iran threatens Elon Musk's companies in the Middle East. Iranian state media says they've said that we'll target essentially technocracy, and they did a little bit when it was real hot and heavy, and they're back to that. They're going to target Starlink.
Wait, like intentionally?
Yeah, intentionally.
Who's doing this? Iran?
Iran, yeah.
I hate to say it, but I might actually take a side on this one.
All of Elon Musk's companies in the Middle East are military targets for Iran as it retaliates against the U.S. Their state media, FARS, has stated. So they know, because they're not stupid like America, that Elon Musk is the top military industrial complex, Starlink spy company, all the rest of it. And so that's who they're going to target.
He's got all his fingers in all the cookie jars, doesn't he?
And so that's who they're going to target, because they're using Starlink to target them for war. Shocking, I know.
Well, he's like a trillionaire now, so he can take a bit of a hit here and there.
Strait of Hormuz remains open for transit. Let's do this back and forth a little bit. According to U.S. Central Command, Strait of Hormuz open for transit. Safe pathways are established for commercial vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz. The pathways are available for all vessels not violating the blockade against Iran. Hundreds of ships have transited in the last 2 months. U.S. forces are postured to defend against Iranian aggression. Iran does not control the Strait of Hormuz. We do, according to U.S. Central Command. But Iran says Iran's newly established body overseeing the Strait of Hormuz, the Persian Gulf Strait Authority, PGSA, and the Iranian military have announced the complete closure of the strait until further notice. Due to tensions caused by aggression of American forces in the region and the announcement made last night by the Iranian armed forces, the Strait of Hormuz will be closed until further notice. The announcement they put out on the X, here it is. I don't know. You tell me, bro. It's blocked 4 ways, 6 ways to Sunday. Every which way. U.S. Navy's blogging it. Iran's blogging it. What a disaster. It's still closed. It's still closed as far as I can tell.
I know how we can solve this, right? So, because we got two sides arguing about which one controls it. Who controlled it before these two sides got involved, huh? Or wait, are you going to tell me it kind of just controlled itself?
Sounds hateful. U.S. always controlled it. It's in our Constitution that we control the Strait of Hormuz.
Okay, I just wasn't sure because we skipped that part in high school history class. Just like we skipped over the USS Liberty. Yeah.
And the Balfour Declaration as well. Let's go ahead and we'll listen to Joe Kent. He says he wants. He said Joe Kent, former head counterterrorism dude, that is a big. What is he? He's a big traitor to Trump, right? No, he actually has been calling it right from the beginning. Said we should have never got into any of this. U.S. intelligence says that Iran is not an imminent nuclear threat to America. He put out this post earlier today. We'll play a little bit of it. He says, Iran, we are at an impasse. He wants to cut and just whatever. He just wants no more shooting and just say we're done and withdraw. Let's hear a little bit from Joe Kent, the traitor to Trump.
100 days into the war with Iran. We just passed that marker this week. And so many are asking, how does this end? Are we going to get a peace deal? Now, it's Thursday morning. We're waking up. There was more reports last night that we took more strikes against the Iranians. We've now said that, we're going to stop attacking for right now, but we can resume the attacks within the next 24 hours if the Iranians don't immediately sign a peace deal that President Trump has been alluding to now for the past 70 odd days. The Iranians have since come out and said basically there is no peace deal. And this is the pattern that has been followed now for the past multiple.
He's saying cut and run and just say we're done, and that's what it is what he's advocating for. And I would say that's probably not a bad idea at this point, but Trump has
kind of what Peter Thiel did, right? He cut and ran.
Trump to press defense industry leaders on weapons production as missile stockpiles shrink amid the Iran war. Leaders of 7 key war companies, I changed it. It was defense. I changed it to war companies, are expected to meet with Trump this week. But we're out of days here. Maybe they've been meeting. That was according to NBC upon inventory in our munitions at very low levels. Trump has expressed anger to aides over the depleted arsenal as he weighs continued major combat operations against Iran. The Pentagon has yet to sign any new multi-year contracts to replenish munitions since Trump took office. The United States has been drawing down weapon stockpiles from Europe and Asia to sustain the Iran campaign. A Center for Strategic and International Studies found particular shortfalls in long-range precision weapons, including Tomahawks, Patriot missiles, and THAAD intercept systems. But we won, so I guess we don't need to worry about any of that, Ruckus.
Who's worried? I'm not. The war machine marcheth on. Military-industrial complex for everybody. You get a military-industrial complex. You get a military-industrial complex. Oh, well.
One widget is made in every congressional district around the country.
Yeah.
That's how they keep this whole racket going.
It's a racket, isn't it?
Okay, let's move on now to our police state here at home. Of course, it's all these AI data centers are just so we can make goofy memes with AI that nobody likes. No, it turns out the epicenter, one of them, it is California, but it's also Ohio there. That's a big technocracy state. Ohio secretly gave 100% sales tax breaks lasting up to 40 years to tech giants for data centers. That's a report out of cleveland.com. The exemption signed by Governor Kasich gave Google, Meta, and Amazon at least $600 million each. Legislators in the state of Ohio say the contracts cannot be undone.
Baloney.
I hear you. SpaceX is set to have the largest IPO in history at a $1.75 trillion valuation. Again, $1.75 trillion valuation.
This is a very concerning story right here.
Let's watch this report from
okay. I have an update
from More Perfect Union, and they're breaking it down here a little bit about the SpaceX upcoming IPO, massive wealth transfer to Elon Musk, who's a great philanthropist and just wants to colonize the moon and Mars and is not part of the military-industrial complex, and he doesn't want to put a brain chip in your brain.
SpaceX goes public this week. Whether you like it or not, you could soon become an investor and play a role in making Elon Musk the world's first trillionaire. A few weeks ago, we showed you how this IPO was engineered to transfer wealth from ordinary retirement savers to his early investors by rewriting the rules that govern index funds.
The reason why I described it as a bag holder situation is because it feels like it's getting engineered to be one.
Since then, there's been some interesting updates. Musk told NASDAQ, change your rules or I'll take my IPO elsewhere. They changed them to allow SpaceX to fast track its way into the index. Instead of waiting a year, SpaceX would be listed on the index in just 15 trading days. When a company joins an index, every fund tracking it has to buy shares automatically, even if the price is inflated, pushing the stock up more. And conveniently, Elon Musk has to wait a year, but other insiders can cash out while the stock price is artificially high. FTSE Russell followed NASDAQ in changing their rules too, just as Musk wanted. S&P was next, considering it when we published. But after more than 3,000 of you left comments on their public docket, they seem to have actually listened.
SpaceX will not be getting a fast track into the S&P 500. S&P Dow Jones indices have rejected proposals that would have accelerated entry for mega cap companies into its flagship benchmark.
Bloomberg Intelligence estimates that fast track S&P inclusion alone would have triggered $14 billion in forced buying for SpaceX at staggeringly high prices. S&P held. Then Google wrote a check.
SpaceX has agreed to provide Google with its access to its supercomputer here in Memphis for $920 million per month.
And just like that, Google put SpaceX on a path to profitability and potentially into the S&P 500 in a year without a rule change. The banks have their own reasons to be optimistic. Goldman and Morgan Stanley are the leaders of a group of 23 financial institutions pocketing a reported $500 million in fees, bringing SpaceX public. So when Goldman Sachs says SpaceX's revenue will grow from $19 billion a year to over $300 billion in 5 years, and Morgan Stanley projects $3.4 trillion in revenue by 2040, you should keep that in mind.
Getting to that scale of revenue in 4 to 5 years would be absolutely unprecedented.
Morningstar put the company's value at less than half of what Musk is asking. index rules, optimistic projections. None of this requires anyone's approval. Index providers are self-regulated. The banks bringing SpaceX public are providing forecasts. A Danish pension fund already blacklisted SpaceX, saying the valuation is impossible to justify. Meanwhile, brokerages have dropped their account minimums to recruit the only investors willing to buy in.
It's going to really be the retail investors that are going to pick up the SpaceX IPO.
Would you want to buy it at the IPO?
No, I would actually wait for the IPO and wait for the first dip.
The banks get their fees, the insiders get an exit, and regular people get left holding the bag. And OpenAI and Anthropic are both expected to go public later this year.
Yep. He pretty much covered it there. But in case you missed that part, how they're sneakily the like your retirement funds and your pensions and the teacher funds, all that stuff has exposure to this stuff. So they're going to be technically forced to just buy it at these exorbitantly high prices with or without, like, whether you want them to or not. They're just going to do it. And it's just so ridiculous how many different rules they bent to make this happen. Plus he's really only releasing like 4% of the shares in something called a low float. There's a lot to this. And it's just like, dude, you all are going to get rug pulled. If you thought those crypto scams were bad, this is really, 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 really bad. But we're talking about like retirement funds, 401k, savings, stuff like that. This is going to get potentially bad. But this would be one of those opportunities where if everybody did the right thing together and held the line, maybe we could screw these billionaires who are counting on all of the retail investors to go, I'm going to buy this and make money and become the exit liquidity for these D-bags. What if nobody touches it with a 10-foot pole? Like literally. And just that now they're like left holding the bag. And there's no effing way that the SpaceX is going to make what they would. So we're talking about like 90 95 per times the amount of money is what it's valued at. Is like high 90s times the amount of money that they're actually making or could ever hope to make. It's ridiculous. And then people who buy it, the suckers who are going to buy it, think SpaceX, and they're like, oh, cool, space is cool, right? They have no idea what they're getting into. Even they're going to be left holding the bag for what? The military-industrial complex. Good for you people. Silly. Anyways, yeah, this is just shocking what they're doing. On top of a lot of weird things they're doing. Yeah, they're going to rug pull everybody, basically.
You sound like a national security threat to me.
Yeah, I should probably get the door. That's the FBI.
This protest was this inflatable Elon Musk was there in Times Square protesting SpaceX's Gronk makes AI child PDFs. Here's the back of it.
Stuff was so cool. Why don't they they stand by their damn product? Why do they have to do all these sneaky tricks to make money off of it? Can't they just like start a business and let it be successful, right? Why they got to cheat like this?
You like his ketamine?
I love that tattoo.
Oh man. Here's some video of it. Play a little bit of the video so you could get a perspective. It's pretty large there. Pretty large demonstration. Yikes. Trump administration is not going to set nationwide environmental requirements for data centers, according to EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. EPA is not the party that is negotiating or mediating or refereeing the deal, Zeldin told Politico. So no environmental regulation by the EPA for these data centers. We are in a Cold War with China to have more surveillance than them, apparently. GOP Congressman Robert Brashana is introducing a bill to restrict companies' ability to sue local governments for restricting data center applications. The bill would also make developers file a legally binding community benefit agreement or lose out on federal tax incentives. Seattle just passed a 1-year moratorium on data center construction. It's the largest city in the U.S. to enact a pause or ban. And so we may have to bomb Seattle, right? For national security. Some good news here.
They'll have some event take place and have the local community divided and at each other's throats before you know it.
Some good news. We needed some good news. We love the bombings, the AI dystopia. We love all that. That's all good news. The never-ending schemes by Trump, Musk, and the whole crew. We love all that. That's good news. Well, we're starving to death over here. But some actual good news. House rejects bill to renew warrantless spy powers. The House of Representatives earlier today rejected a bill to extend Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA, which gives the federal government the power to conduct warrantless spying on Americans. And now the spying tool is expected to lapse, as the last extension will expire tomorrow night. The bill to renew Section 702 required a 2/3 majority, but couldn't even gain a simple majority, as it failed in a vote 198 to 218, with just 7 Democrats voting in favor of the extension and 19 Republicans joining Democrats in opposition of the bill. So I guess all of these 19 Republicans that voted with Democrats are traitors, because they want the government to get a warrant to spy on us. So they should all be primaried, right? And Trump should pull all their endorsements, because he said he endorses the FISA, the same FISA they used to spy on him. Forget about all that. It's for you and I, actually. What do we do with these 19 Republicans that voted to actually follow the Constitution?
We hit them very hard. Caps lock.
Some good news, though, right? Finally, some good news. Some good news set to expire tomorrow. I think the government will they don't care about the law. Law? What's that?
Right, yeah, I was going to say. Neither do those corporations who own the data centers care about their legally binding promises to the community.
FIFA kicked off the World Cup in Mexico today, Ruckus.
Kicked off? I see what you did there.
Aren't you excited about the World Cup?
Absolutely.
I tried this. It's hard to find the opening ceremony. I was looking for occult rituals they're doing there. There is one floating around. It's AI. Don't fall for it. It's hard, and I'm sure it's all copyrighted. So good thing I didn't find one to play. But they did have Shakira performing at the opening there live. The tournament is the largest ever, with 48 teams, 104 matches across 16 host cities in 13 countries, 11 in America, 3 in Mexico, and 2 in Canada. Almost like the North American Union, the Greater North America Project. Over 6 million, I know, don't get triggered out there, over 6 million expected attendees and a 39-day span. This requires coordination among hundreds of law enforcement agencies, federal authorities, private security, and FIFA. This is a giant police state they're rolling out. Estimated police needed here, 50,000 police and security personnel across the sites, plus thousands more for support roles, and 65,000 FIFA volunteers, little rats running around paranoid that there may be a terrorist attack. U.S. involves 400 plus agencies. 400 plus. If an attack happens, the entire government needs to be fired. 400 plus U.S. government agencies involved here. Mexico plans up to 100,000 personnel to address cartel risks. Is all this worth a freaking soccer game? They're using it to normalize the police state. Some of the security they're going to have is facial recognition. They're going to have enhanced screenings, credentialing, no-fly zones, anti-drone systems, radars, cameras, jammers, FBI-trained officers for drone mitigation. They're going to have their own drones there as well. They're focusing on their counterterrorism focus is on lone wolf actors, vehicle attacks, ISIS-inspired threats. It's just, oh my gosh.
Do they have any drills scheduled at this time?
I know, right? I didn't see any drills. So that's a little bit of a breakdown of the security. I think we have a little bit more here, but it's a big price tag. Here's the FIFA. And again, it's hard to find the opening ceremony, so I just left it out, and I'm sure it's very copyrighted. But here's this is from FIFA. You like the World Cup there, right? And so they do have a bunch of esoteric symbolism in it, as per usual with all of these events there. And then here's their another angle there, kicking off the gold and silver uniforms, the World Cup there.
It kind of does look like some sort of weird adult toy, we'll just say.
The FBI tells us, the White House posted this earlier today, the FBI and its partners preventing terrorist attacks at the World Cup as its #1 job. We're working nonstop to meet the challenge in concert with partner agencies, over 400 plus law enforcement agencies involved.
I can't wait to hear all of the attacks that they prevented from happening. I was at first thinking there would be one, but I think there'll be multiple. Like, we stopped so many. Like, you guys don't even know how many times y'all died, and we saved your butts. Go Trump. FEMA.gov says FEMA awarded $846 million in grants to enhance security, cybersecurity, and emergency response, and to protect against drone threats in 11 U.S. host cities. $846 million in security grants. This includes $625 million provided through the FIFA World Cup grant program, allowing state and local officials to fund operational exercises, conduct staffed background checks, strengthen cybersecurity defenses, and increase police and first responder presence at FIFA World Cup venues, and more than $221 million in counter unmanned aerial systems grants to help states protect host cities and FIFA World Cup events against drone threats. The only drone threat, bro, is the police state is the drone threat here now. Well, all of these things you're describing could potentially be a threat if they've got AI decision-making software involved, because, yeah, it might mistaken somebody or something as a threat and act in a way that might not be good for people.
FEMA put out a video, how FEMA is keeping you safe at the big match. Let's watch it, because I was afraid until FEMA told me they're keeping me safe. Now I have nothing to worry about.
This summer, the biggest sports event in world history comes to America. Our goal, keep fans safe. Law enforcement, paramedics, and first responders will be on the front lines. To make sure they are ready, FEMA provided almost $1 billion in grant funding to host cities. These grants ensure the host cities have the money they need to support security, crowd management, medical services, and disaster preparedness. This money also ensures that first responders are prepared to defend against cyber attacks, unauthorized drones, and ready to face any emergency that comes. These investments will keep fans and the nation safe during this special event and beyond. Learn more at FEMA.gov/FIFA World Cup.
Pretty awesome, right?
I've already visited that link twice.
Maybe some good came out of all this. U.S. Marshals, 35 vulnerable Massachusetts children recovered ahead of the World Cup. Dozens of missing children, endangered children from Massachusetts have been recovered since April amid an anti-human trafficking operation ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, according to an announcement from the U.S. Marshals Service. The Marshal said Operation Yellow Card has thus far led to the recovery of 35 vulnerable, high-risk missing children from the Bay State who were found as far away as Georgia and Texas. The children have been safely reunited with family members or placed with appropriate protective services, the Marshal said. Additionally, the Marshal said the operation gathered multiple investigations involving allegations of criminal violations related to kidnapping, human trafficking, and other associated offenses that are out of Massachusetts. And then this one, Ruckus. Remember the reporting about the black helicopters in LA?
Oh, yeah, that was fun. With the simulated screaming?
Well, we have this report out of the Orange County Register tells us we have FIFA World Cup to thank for that. Military-like training in California cities, part of FIFA World Cup preparation, FBI says. So they had to do black helicopter live fire urban warfare drills to prepare for the freaking soccer game, dude. There's your black helicopter. Recent training scenarios that rattled communities in Los Angeles and Orange counties with unexpected low-flying helicopters and sounds of explosions and simulated weapon fire could likely be observed over the next 2 years in Southern California. An FBI official said the exercises are an interagency effort. FBI spokeswoman said the agency trains with partners at state, local, and federal level, all part of the Bureau's routine effort to keep American citizens safe. Agencies are amplifying efforts ahead of many special events scheduled in Southern California area. The World Cup launches in Los Angeles today, June 11th, bringing fans from all around the world. And so we need a police state to keep us safe. We train on a regular basis, whether it's our dive team, our SWAT team, our bomb techs, crisis negotiators. We have many specialty teams that conduct training on a regular basis with our partners, the spokesman said there. With the upcoming FIFA games, upcoming Super Bowl, and upcoming Olympics, there may be additional training with additional partners, but we conduct training on a regular basis. So we deserve a police state so we can have all of these big sport games, right?
2 years. I mean, wow. So normalizing and getting people used to and acclimated and desensitized to the sounds of military activities, including gunfire, screaming, what could possibly go wrong here? I mean, like, it's not like if they wanted to like swoop down and snatch somebody on for real under the cover of some sort of simulation drill that they could do. There's no way they could or would, right? I mean, this is totally fine, I'm sure. What the heck?
They would do that because they have priors. They kidnapped the president of Venezuela earlier this year.
Well, how many presidents of Venezuela are hanging out in Orange County, Sam? Come on. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Probably a few, actually. But, yeah, so normalization of the police state so we can watch grown men throw and kick a ball around. I guess women, too. So
we're already at a point where they're black bagging people. Presumably, they're like, oh, yeah, no, the dude's an illegal alien. And it's just a guy with a bag over his head. And, okay, sure, we'll take your word for that, right?
We got a report later in the show. They're going after a guy from the Quincy Institute, trying to deport him or something. I forget exactly what, because he's critical of our foreign policy. So, yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you do that.
Let's take our live commercial break now. We're way over. Give us that like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. You can find Ruckus and myself over there on the X for whatever that's worth right there. Give us the like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. Go to weaponizednews.com/shop. Get yourself a holograph sticker for Trump's UFC event there. It's all fake and gay for Pride Month. Weaponizednews.com. Or if you don't like that, you can get a white background sticker or a clear sticker. Check out the shop, weaponizednews.com/shop. We have baseball caps, T-shirts, coffee mugs, a bunch of gear, shot glasses, as this shows it is known to induce heavy bouts of drinking. Whichever way you choose to support us is appreciated. We take donations, buy me a coffee, Bitcoin wallet address, Cash App. Links are all in the description below this video. Become a paid subscriber at Weaponized News Substack channel. The show's streaming there live on Substack. We provide a summary for the show and links to almost everything we talk about for documentation and your further research purposes. Weaponized News Substack. Become a paid subscriber. Everything's free there. Show your support for independent reporting and analysis, brought to you 5 days a week, broadcasting live, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern. Weaponized News. Page in the store, weaponizednews.com/shop. Any which way you choose to support us is truly appreciated. Give us that like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. All that's free. Go ahead and plug away, Ruckus, please.
It's free. Head on over to alternatecurrentradio.com if you like. That's where you're going to find me and my colleagues doing our thing. You know, we got the Boiler Room, Sunday Wire, Mystical American Patriot Society, Roundabout Ruckus. That's mostly me on Weaponized News these days. And the Oddcast Out featuring the Odd Man Out. Excellent stuff. alternatecurrentradio.com. There you go.
And when are you guys doing Boiler Room? Tomorrow night?
We usually do it Friday at 8 p.m. Central.
Tune in there.
Usually closer to 9, not going to lie.
You're going to like this one. Welcome back to the second half of Weaponized News on this Thursday, June 11, 2026 edition. We were going to bomb Iran, then we had second thoughts. Iran says they don't even know what we're talking about. That's where we're at here as Trump profiteers off of manipulating the markets, essentially here now, putting America's lives at risk at his whims. And so we do appreciate his efforts and all of the corruption. Okay, this is a crazy one right here, Ruckus. Now a little bit about public health. You'll get a kick out of this one, I think. Posted by HHS. Eat real food, get active, respect snakes. And of course, that's a very young, thin Bobby Kennedy Jr. there holding Trump in another form. Almost Friday. What do you make of that?
Did he eat that snake or what?
I don't know, but it gets bizarre. He did say he cut off a raccoon penis to study it later, right?
And he did catch those 2 black racer snakes on the balcony, hang out with his buddy Oz, which was featured earlier on the show. This is coming full circle. And it had Trump in the picture. Clever. Oh, wait a minute.
I take this as a win, too. Cleveland Clinic agrees to end youth transgender care. Commits millions for detransitions. And so we're getting a couple wins here. The Cleveland Clinic, but again, no one ever gets in trouble for the crimes. This is, we're not doing that now until it's back in fashion again. And no one ever gets in trouble. The Cleveland Clinic, it's a report out of Channel 12 out of Cleveland. They say the Cleveland Clinic has agreed to end youth transgender care and has agreed to commit millions for detransition care. So that's kind of like the backhanded fine they're paying for all the butchering they did on these brainwashed kids. Now they're going to pay for detransitioning care. And no one gets in trouble. These butcher psychopath doctors, they'll continue on, find another body part to chop off for some unsuspecting youth out there. As the new trend I've seen is now, what is it, beauty maxing or whatever, looks maxing. And so they'll have you smashing your face with a sledgehammer and then doing reconstructive surgery and saying how wonderful that is because they can't cut off your genitals any longer and have that be as popular as it once was, Ruckus.
They should just combine all these things and go with genital maxing and smash their genitals with a sledgehammer.
Ooh.
Well, let's see that viral TikTok trend, kids. Have fun. Knock yourselves out.
Don't give them any ideas, Ruckus. Don't give them any ideas out
Hey,
there.
if they're that dumb, let them have at it. Yeah, joy to you.
I saw
have
it.
a blast.
It was ball maxing or something. They're like injecting something into their scrotum, trying to. It's just like, why are people so freaking weird, man? But there's.
I blame social media and Grok.
ARPA-H now, brains. Tens of millions live with permanent disability after brain injuries such as stroke, disease, or aging. Current therapies help people cope but cannot restore lost brain function. The brain's exploratory topic aims to advance regenerative neuroscience by engineering graftable precursor tissues and testing their integration into adult brains. That's from ARPA, not DARPA. Take away the D. ARPA-H out of the H is for healthcare.
It's basically the same thing, but yeah.
Militarized healthcare out of ARPA-H.
It's pretty interesting, frightening, wild, concerning, all the things.
Brain's exploratory topic, regrowing damaged brain regions to restore lost function. Is this the therapy they're going to give MAGA when Trump's finally out of office?
I hear they put the technology in like a little device that looks like a pen, basically pen-sized little black stick, and then they press a button and there's this white flashy light thingy that comes out. Or maybe I'm thinking of a movie.
Brain repair of any injured neural structure, brains, exploratory topic. The brain repair of any injured neural structure, brains, exploratory topic is the first effort to generate graphable precursor tissues for multiple parts of the brain, expanding beyond the front program's focus on the neocortex. Brain's goal is to show it is possible to reverse brain damage and disease in part of the brain. Do we trust ARPA-H to be doing essentially brain surgery?
No. I believe there's something else going on with this, but that's okay. We're not going to get too conspiratorial because I left my tinfoil in the other room.
They're rolling it out. They say using natural brain development as a guide, Brains is focused on two technical areas, both essential for later steps in repairing damaged brain tissue with working tissue. Technical area number one, teams will design developmental mimicking or tissue engineering methods capable of generating precursor tissue for a part of the brain other than the neocortex. Technical area number two, teams will provide proof of concept for surgical engraftment into adult brains of non-human fetal precursor tissues for their selected brain area. It sounds like freaking like a nightmare out of the worst dystopic sci-fi movie we ever saw, but ARPA-H is rolling.
This could be the real playing God kind of thing right here. This is dangerous.
Functional repair of neocortical tissue. Ay. All right. Let's see. Oh, we got to replay this one onto Epstein now. This was a great one yesterday. This guy, what's his name? Joseph P. Daniel confronted Bill Gates and told him stop being a baby eater and stop drinking the baby blood. Let's watch this all-time classic confrontation yesterday with Bill Gates saying he did well. Epstein was blackmailing Bill Gates, so we should actually probably feel sorry for him, even though he's trying to terminate the majority of the population in the world. Here is the confrontation yesterday. Upon Bill Gates' denial at his testimony to the House Oversight Committee in regards to his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, who, by the way, we showed that email multiple times, where Epstein and someone else redacted discuss how do we get rid of all these poor people. To paraphrase them, we need to talk to Bill Gates.
Follow Jesus, Bill. Stop being a baby flesh eater. Stop consuming adrenochrome. Follow.
Yeah, the guy's trying to help, but I don't think he's helping. And the part about he's like, stop being a transgendered woman, Bill, or whatever. I'm like, what is this? These are just these wackos that are there to muddy the waters and make people like you and I, who bring up any real concerns about Bill Gates, as like, oh, you're like that guy that says he's eating baby flesh and he's a girl or whatever. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Well, it said that in FBI intake that they were.
He was a woman?
No, I didn't see any of that.
Oh, well, you know, that other thing. Well, we don't, you know, allegedly. Okay, so if you're going to do that, if you're going to confront somebody for their baby flesh eating, you have to at least say alleged baby flesh eating, okay? Bill, when are you going to apologize for allegedly eating baby flesh? That would be completely acceptable behavior in public.
And you could even cite, according to FBI intake reports in the Epstein files. I'm not just making this stuff up. That's what it says. It was never followed up for further investigation. But these claims were made to the FBI.
And someone will have to hit me up with a DM to explain why somebody thinks he's transgender. That's a new one on me.
I can explain it to you, but we don't have time. Think Baphomet is where all this is coming from. But okay, so DOJ is still biggest cover up in American history, covering up the Epstein files, but they are getting some. They got 3 illegals, and so cracking down on child.
That's better than zero, right?
Damn Bongino, 0. The DOJ, Todd Blanche, acting Attorney General, announced the indictment of 3 illegal aliens who took part in a wide-ranging conspiracy to smuggle more than a dozen children into the United States. There are over 15,500 super sponsor cases that have been identified. Never forget what Joe Biden allowed to happen at our borders. That's from the Department of Justice. The White House posted those exact words. Why does no one in the Biden administration get in trouble for all of this disaster with the illegal alien child trafficking that was allowed to go on? Literally no one in the government has gotten in trouble for any of it. But blame Joe Biden, they keep telling us. Well, we are, bro. Why don't you guys go arrest somebody in a position of authority in his administration that was allowing all this to happen? Oh, Mayorkas? Who's that? You know what I mean? It's just like,
because if they did that, that would mean that the next group could do the same thing to them.
They'd have to put the cuffs on themselves, maybe. Homeland Security head Mullen, he says, we found 146,000 children so far. Some of these kids claimed they were raped over 600 times. I don't care who you are. If you can't stand for law enforcement to go find these kids, who are you? He said, well, we're saying you stop covering up the Epstein files, bro.
These are lies coming from propaganda outlets such as Iran, China, Russia.
That's right from the White House. No, that's right from the White
Well,
House.
no, they're the ones they were making false reports to the FBI, which is why the FBI decided this is not a valid complaint. 600 times, young Timmy, we don't believe you. Hang up the phone.
No, that's what Mullen, the head of the Department of Homeland Security, is claiming.
He's a Democrat or something, right?
No, he's a Republican.
It's Biden's fault.
That's what they literally say. It's Biden's fault.
There you go. See, yeah.
More on the cover-up here. Epstein file cover-up. Here's House Oversight. Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury, I believe she's out of New Mexico. Let's hear what she had to say about all of the latest developments.
Evening, and I am just leaving to go to the congressional baseball game, but I wanted to just put on your radar a truly stunning piece of journalism that came out in the New York Times today about the White House cover-up of the Epstein files. If you have not read this article, go read this article. This article reveals months of reporting that not only did the White House know that Donald Trump was in the Epstein files, but that they spent months in the Situation Room with his staff, the vice president, the chief of staff.
I covered it yesterday. What do you mean? To me, they're trying to whitewash J.D. Vance and act like he's the lone holdout. And they're even saying Susie Wiles' chief of staff is disappointed in J.D. Vance's conspiracy theory mindset. Something like this is what they're saying. They're trying to separate Vice President J.D. Vance from all of this Epstein cover-up, essentially.
Well, and or the entire Trump administration in general. He's kept a very low profile since this new admin took. It's all these other guys all around him all the time. It's Scott Besson, it's Howard Lutnick, it's Pete Hegseth, it's Marco Rubio, all the war side. And like, you hardly really ever see J.D. Vance doing his thing. You know what I mean? I mean, he pops up every once in a while, but nothing like any of the other past VPs or anything. And I think that's on purpose, because I think, you know, when it all comes crashing down, they need somebody who's going to at least he'd be like, well, yeah, see, you know, guys, I was trying to tell them behind the scenes, but then I saw what happened to Joe Kent, and I thought maybe I should just like, you know, keep my ducks. You know, who knows? I mean, and all we really see of the guy are these ridiculous memes that make no sense, of him like oversized, overweight with long hair and all these weird things. Like, I don't even know how or where that started. That's got to be a CIA psyop thing. It makes zero sense. It's just so crazy. Everything muddying the waters all the time. You know, just keep everybody busy with that so they don't do the digging into the past like some of us do here at Weaponized News, for example, and know how closely he is related to the technocracy and to Peter Thiel. Yes.
Yes. Don't be fooled by J.D. Vance and all the whitewashing they're doing on him right now. Don't be fooled. He was handpicked by Peter Thiel to be vice president, i.e. Mr. Technocracy, to guide Trump's old hand through the scientific dictatorship technocracy takeover. Nancy Mace lost as running for governor. She's going to be out of the government. She may just work as a special fed. Who knows? But she did put out this post. I will gladly die on the hill that prosecutes predators, murderers, rapists, and PDFs there. And she even had to self-censor. So we do appreciate the free speech there. And so she's talking about the fact that Trump didn't endorse her because she's one of the 4 Republicans that voted to release the Epstein files. Massey, MTG, Nancy Mace, and Lauren Boebert. Lauren Boebert is the only one that hasn't lost her re-election bid. The other 3 have here now after losing Trump's endorsement. We're told any of this even matters, and the elections are 100% legitimate, Ruckus. How did Mace was a darling with the MAGA crowd for a while during the whole bathroom at the was it in the White House or the she played along with a lot of psyops, yeah, fighting men in dresses and bathrooms. Yeah. So
Yeah, they loved her then, but like, oh, how dare you say we need to release the Epstein files? And she's a survivor of things related to all that. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, no, they're just like everything else. All these former supporters and darlings of the MAGA and Trump and the administration, they just get cast aside when they're done with them, or they step out of line by not towing the party line. Not party line. It's not even a party line. This is all Trump. It's Trump. Yeah, it's Trump line. It's Trump loyalty. It's crazy. Anyways, cult of personality. It's a hell of a drug, kids.
Trump announced Jay Clayton, a U.S. attorney from the Southern District of New York, will be the next director of the of national intelligence. That's his nominee. So
who is it again?
An organized crime figure from New York, the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. So organized crime figure that are working for the government. Jay Clayton. Here's the post.
How do I know this name?
I don't know. Here's the post by Trump. He says, "I'm pleased to announce the nomination of very highly respected Jay Clayton, former chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, the former head of Sullivan and Cromwell, one of the most prominent and successful law firms anywhere in the world, and the current United States attorney for the Southern District of New York, to be the next director of national intelligence, and importantly, to serve in my cabinet. Few people anywhere in the legal community are respected at the level of Jay. I encourage the United States Senate to confirm Jay as soon as possible." Thank you for your attention to this matter. So they're just going to use that Pollute guy, Bill Pollute, the real estate dude, to be the hatchet man and fire everybody that doesn't agree with Iran's going to nuke us in 2 weeks out of the intelligence community, essentially, is what it's shaping up to be. And then bring in this fixer, mafia man from the Southern District of New York to go ahead and carry out the tyranny further once the hatchet job and clearing out of all the non-Trump loyalists, i.e. actual wanting to provide legitimate intelligence to America, people in the intelligence community. Once they're all cleaned out and we find the guys that will actually toe the line of Trump propaganda and war profiteering, then everything will be straight here in America, Ruckus.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to it. Now I know why I knew Jay Clayton's name, because yeah, he was with the SEC, S as in Sam, Securities and Exchange Commission. But since he left there, he's been a big crypto bro. He's one of these people who are like, part of the inside of the system. And then since leaving the system, they've been running around as these big orange.
The Clarity is going to be the central bank digital currency by another name.
Yeah, this is all related, what they're doing here. So, not financial advice or anything, but the people like Kevin Warsh, just to give you an idea, Kevin Warsh, who just became is going to be the new Fed chair after Jerome Powell.
Been confirmed.
He has been confirmed. That's what I thought. So he's in. It's 100%. If
he's
you
in
look
the
at what
Epstein
that guy,
files, 100%.
right? Yeah. Well, ignore
his
all that for a
father-in-law,
second.
Ron Lauder, up in the Epstein files. They're all Epsteiners.
Right. So do you think that these people are going to do something, or they're just like here for show? Are they going to actually do stuff? What is it that they're going to do? Well, that guy
they're
Kevin Warsh
implement technocracy, the surveillance state, digital currency,
as well,
mark of the beast, and cover up Epstein.
Right.
Just you bad for noticing all of this.
That guy Kevin Warsh and these other people, they have been saying for a long time now that Bitcoin is the new gold. That Bitcoin is no longer what it's been, which is a risk-off or a risk-on asset, right? If you understand anything about investing, the way Bitcoin has been working this whole time, the way everything's been working, everything is about to change and get broken and shaken up. This is like the part of the great reset of everything. So hold on to your butts, but again, not financial advice, but yeah, if you don't own just even a tiny piece of some Bitcoin, you might want to consider having it just in case. Just a tiny little sliver. Just consider it. Just saying. I know there's people in the chat room who might agree with me. Yeah.
Strong loves the Bitcoin.
Basically, what I'm saying is if you study this long enough and pay attention, you realize that once they're done making a killing, rug pulling everybody, all of that money's got to go somewhere. And it's not going to go to gold, and it's not going to go to U.S. treasuries or bonds. It's probably not going to go to AI. So that leaves one other logical place. And
No,
you
there's
might want to
two.
take a wild guess.
It may
where
go to Howard Lutnick.
No, because I've told you this on air, and they say this too. The plan for the stable coins is, other than, obviously being implemented with the universal basic income, CBDC, and all that stuff. That's going to be, nobody wants to touch the effing dollar. Nobody wants to buy the bonds. They're going to force the bonds to be bought by the stable coins. I know this doesn't make any sense to people who don't understand money. No, I know it makes sense to you, Sam. Yeah. But again, you add all of these pieces together and all of these things that are happening. And I'm like, dude, it's about to go down like right now, like soon, any minute now.
They're putting all the people in place. Indeed.
Yeah.
75% of Americans say the federal government is hiding information about Jeffrey Epstein's clients, and just 10% believe the Trump administration has helped efforts to hold Epstein associates accountable, according to a report out of Forbes magazine. So, yeah. The Trump Epstein reading room is putting on an exhibit right now in Washington, D.C., and will be there for Trump's 80th birthday and the whole Bread and Circus show. So if you're in the area, maybe go check out the Trump Epstein reading room, as we continue to highlight on the show. They printed out all of the Epstein files and bound them and put them in a mobile library so everyone can go see that exhibit in Washington, D.C.
Where I come from, a reading room is the nickname for the bathroom.
On to economic news. We're running way late, so we got to blast through these. European Central Bank raised interest rates for the first time since 2023. It expects inflation to run hotter, as banker fake economist language for devaluation of your money, but it expects inflation to run hotter. That means they're going to print more money and your money's worth less because there's more of it in the supply than previously thought, and downgraded its forecast for economic growth.
Wah, wah, sad trombone noise.
Businesses are increasingly concluding that the value of AI models is not worth the extravagant cost. Governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, said. You think?
Weird.
Weird. We need to probably put him in one of these detention centers here, because they said they'll list you as a domestic terrorist if you're against AI. So we got the another one here, Senator Warren. So I get top bunk. If any of these politicians wind up in the FEMA camp with me, I'm taking top bunk, bro, because you guys work for the government. I was outside trying to tell everybody this was the wrong thing. You guys are inside. Senator Elizabeth Warren has introduced a bill requiring financial institutions to disclose their exposure to AI companies. That's what we're talking about. They're financing all this in the shadows. What that union, was it? I forget even their name. That report we showed about how Elon Musk is bending all the rules to take his SpaceX public. Because I hate to say it, but we need some type of. There already are rules in place, though. They keep enforce the freaking rules, regulations, and laws that are on the books. I'm sure if they did, we wouldn't be seeing all this corruption. But we have to have a new law, Ruckus. And it's like, no, they're just going to ignore that as well. Selectively enforce it is what they'll do.
Yeah, they just they're making the rules up as they go to for their benefit and not ours. That's the end of the story, period.
As highlighted in that report, retail investors bidding for shares in SpaceX initial public offering have submitted more than $100 billion in orders, according to Bloomberg. So,
are you kidding?
That's what Bloomberg's reporting. So there you go, Ruckus. People are just stupid, greedy pigs who can't get out of their own way and are going to suffer for that. And we're going to suffer for it as well.
There's a sucker born every minute, and there's a bunch of them, right? Jeez.
$100 billion in retail investor capital put forth here now and bids for SpaceX's IPO. Right? Because people got it in their head, they're going to get in at the front end and get rich quick off this. You ain't, bro. They already got it all played out. They already know. They already know, and you are the exit liquidity retail investors. Trump says he thinks AI companies will agree to give back to the public. Stop it.
How?
Stop it. Stop it. No, that's a quote that Unusual Wells posted. I believe Trump probably did say that. It's just the level of absurdity.
We'll just start a new television series, Sam. It's called Trump Says the Darndest Things.
Social Security, we reported on this yesterday, set to run out of money in less than 10 years as per the Social Security Administration. So have fun paying your FICA tax there. It's very, I appreciate it when they pull it directly out of my paycheck.
Must be nice to have a paycheck, though.
Oil executives warn White House that gas prices will get worse. And then our AAA national average for the price of a gallon of gasoline, it went down 2 cents today. So we've won the war 38 or 9 times. So we won it again today. We'll probably lose it tomorrow, but in the meantime, we're down to, according to AAA national average for the price of a gallon of gasoline, we're down to $4.13. We'll round it up here as it's $4.12, 9, right? So we'll just round that up to 13. And we did go down about 1 cent from yesterday there. Yeah, we'll call it 2 cents. We'll be generous. We went down 2 cents from yesterday on the back of Trump's market manipulations and Iran's denial that there is a peace deal. On to the Brown University, Iran consumer cost burden of the war. Brown University, the Watson School of International and Public Affairs, says the per household cost burden across both gasoline and diesel is now $437.59, and the total consumer burden since the beginning of the Iran war, starting on February 28, 2026, is now well above $57 billion, up to $57.3 billion. I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be at $58 billion tomorrow. You can see right there, total consumer burden since the beginning of the war.
Can you put that one side by side with the U.S. debt clock thing?
No, not right now.
Would like to, our heads would explode or something. Is that like crossing the streams in Ghostbusters?
Don't you worry, Ruckus, because the U.S. Treasury Department said the Iranian regime will lose the zero-sum game that it's playing. Any damage it inflicts on our allies in the Gulf will be paid for with funds extracted from the Iranian accounts. And Iran is saying they want to be reimbursed for the damage done by Aardvarkland American bombing from, they want reparations on, they're already calling for reparations for war damages. But our Treasury Secretary Bassett says any tolls paid to the Persian Gulf Authority will be offset by funds extracted from their accounts. Every attack Iran launches will only deepen the economic and financial consequences it faces as part of the Epstein epic financial fury launched against Iran as well. It's not just the shooting with the missiles, bombs, drones, and all that fun stuff. We are also in an economic financial war with the weaponization of the dollar as the world reserves currency, which is the only way any of these sanctions carry any weight whatsoever. Ruckus.
I don't know. Sanctions are a new one to me.
U.S. becomes world's top oil exporter as a war with Iran cripples competition.
The U.S. or the oil that we stole from Venezuela?
The U.S. has emerged as the world's top oil exporter, surpassing long-standing leaders Saudi Arabia and Russia, as its war of aggression against Iran continues to disrupt global supply chains and reshape the energy trade, Reuters reported earlier today. Looking good. This guy, their Quincy Institute, they're looking to deport this guy. White House seeks to deport Quincy Institute co-founder Trita Parsi for criticism of the Iran war. So they're looking to free speech, America, all that. They're looking to deport this guy for being critical of our foreign policy. U.S. President Trump is looking to revoke the permanent residency of Iranian Swedish writer and political analyst, this guy, Trita Parsi. According to the news and commentary website, the U.S. State Department has launched an investigation into that could lead to his deportation. The Free Press quoted a White House official as saying the Secretary of State, Little Marco Rubio, is seeking to combat Iranian influence inside the United States. Anyone who seeks to undermine the United States, we're taking a hard look at, the official said. 51-year-old Parsi has lived in the United States as a green card holder for the past 25 years. So he needs to get kicked out of here right now, right?
Yeah. Why are you still here?
He's only been here 25 years and has what, PhD?
Too long. 25 years, too long. Dude's got to go. He probably got here illegally. It was Biden's fault.
He's a dirtbag scammer running healthcare fraud. No, he's like a PhD. Yeah, he's got his PhD from Johns Hopkins University. He's like a high up academic dude. He's the co-founder of the Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft, a think tank based in Washington, D.C. Get out of here, bro. You're freaking terrorist as far as we're concerned here now.
Responsible statecraft. What do you think this is? America, buddy.
There will be no responsible statecraft here. As we continue to report, we have a schizophrenic foreign policy at best, at least intentional destruction of the world. We're still in a proxy war with Russia via Ukraine, helping fund the Russian war machine via our war on Iran and killing a large majority of oil supply. Profits go to Russia. Just one of many.
And somewhere in this story are honest to God real Nazis, and I forget which side they're on, but it's probably ours.
Oh man, you're gonna love this one. He couldn't get any of these celebrities to go to his birthday. Trump's inviting Syria's self-appointed president Ahmed al-Shara, the former head of ISIS Al-Qaeda, to go ahead and attend his birthday.
Can we please see him and Trump duke it out inside the octagon thing? That'd be fun.
He's a reformed terrorist and a good-looking, handsome, smart man now, according to
Comes
Trump.
from a tough neighborhood, Sam.
None of these celebrities want to hang out with Trump, so now he's inviting former terrorists to hang out with him. There he is. That was a report out of AFP.
This truly is sad.
Hey, maybe I'll get some former Al-Qaeda terrorists. Here's a report out of Russian TV. I know they're disinformation evil and we can't trust them. They say that Kiev media claims possible Russian Orezhnik missile launch. So I don't know. Putin denied that. There were reports when they had the big back and forth, Russia-Ukraine over the last month here now, 2-3 weeks, month. They had claimed that Russia used 2 Orezhniks, the hypersonic missile, which we've gone over in detail about. Putin denied it and said they hadn't used them. Again, another claim, we don't know. I'm sure Russia will probably deny using the hypersonic Orezhnik missile to attack Kiev, but that is what Ukrainian media is claiming right now.
The Orezhnik missile accidentally fell out of a 33rd story building, Sam, out a window.
Well, they say they were hit with the Orezhnik, and no reply from Russia. That was about a couple hours ago, so we'll track that and have more reporting on tomorrow. This is the story I was talking about earlier with you, Ruckus, in the program about the whacking, the extrajudicial assassination of these narco terrorists, keeping us safe from all those drugs. One top military officer provided a plausible explanation behind closed doors on Capitol Hill. The Intercept has learned in the briefing, a high-ranking official at the Pentagon, Joint Chief of Staff level, said that people killed by the U.S. military have been the victims of human trafficking. And so on these drug boats, alleged drug boats, we don't even know because they blow them up. They are not only used to smuggle the drugs, they're also being used to smuggle the people. And when you blow them all up, you may also be killing potential trafficking victims. And so nobody saw this coming, except for they should have, because they say they have intelligence that tells them these are the guys that get, bomb them with no due process, extrajudicial assassination, i.e. murder. So now these reports are coming out. We may be in our it's all good intention. We may be murdering, along with the narco drug traffickers, potential trafficking victims that are part of the contraband being allegedly trafficked on these boats, Ruckus.
Well, I mean, the trafficked people were probably going to turn into terrorists anyways, so you know how that goes.
They were gonna be, yeah, they're terrorists anyway, right?
Into narco terrorists themselves. There we go. That's how this never-ending cycle of narco terrorism. See, they're human trafficked and alongside the drugs, and the drugs use the human trafficked people as shields, as human shields. The narcotics do, of course. Yeah, this makes no sense.
During a classified briefing on Capitol Hill last fall, Rear Admiral Brian H. Bennett, a military officer overseeing special operations for the Pentagon's Joint Chief of Staff, was asked if any of the people aboard the boat that got blown up on September 2nd could have been human trafficking victims. He said they could be. Oh, they could be. But what the hell? They're declared narco traffickers, the worst criminals the world's ever seen, and so they got whacked.
But they would know because they confirmed everything and knew what was going on with that boat, which is why they targeted it and blew it out of the water, right? Wait, huh?
I think we're killing, as the U.S. military, I think they're actually killing trafficking victims, is what it looks like.
Summer of Sacrifice.
Summer of Sacrifice. There's a secret war going on here now to build the greater North America. Nobody else even reported it. You got to go to U.S. Southern Command and you could see that we're running constant drills, training exercises, and killing people part of the time as well in America's Counter Cartel Coalition. This one, they're running drills with Guatemala, and they say they seized a fast boat vessel. They didn't kill everybody. They did get the drugs. They say they did another one working in coordination with Colombia. U.S. Southern Command has seized 937 kilograms of drugs and arrested 2 traffickers. That's what you're supposed to do, not just whack everybody and say they're bad, right? So at least they're arresting them, bringing the drugs. Here's the evidence to prove that you are the bad guys we say you are, instead of just whacking them. But ongoing operations here. Another one here. with Panama. And so just go to U.S. Sun Command, and there are ongoing operations there in Mexico, Central, and South America, Ruckus, to fight the drugs.
This is wild. This Lethal Weapon. You saw those movies, Lethal Weapon?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So, yeah. So Hollywood movies and TV shows and books to a certain degree glorify and fictionalize and make things seem cooler and oh, it's the good guy versus bad guy, all this like black and white. It's so simple, kind of like a
Black hats and white hats, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the heroic Marvel superhero kind of garbage, right? Yet if you were like inspired by that stuff as a kid, let's say, and then you go join the police force and you're like, oh my God, policing, detective, all of this has nothing, none of this is like it is in the movies, right? Knowing that, and that you could talk to a lot of the people who are actually involved in law enforcement and investigation and all these sorts of things, and they say, yeah, it's nothing like these movies. But these stories and these things that we're seeing seem to be appealing to an audience who is used to consuming the Hollywood garbage version of it when they have no clue of such things. Like for just semi-related, the story about the drone going into the Apache helicopter. When you look up the drone that they say took out the Apache helicopter and the size of the drone and its dimensions and everything, and then you look at an Apache helicopter and they say the drone got wedged between the two pilots and all this crazy stuff, and unharmed too, thank God. Like, it's literally impossible. It's this tiny little cockpit. They're like smushed up on each other, and it's like you're gonna squeeze this big thing in between. Like, people have no clue. They just get fed this Hollywood story, and they're like, "Oh, I could see that in a movie, maybe with Jason Statham or something." Like, and he does the transporter kick, flies through the air, and bam, he gets wedged between the two pilots. Like, what? Come on, people. This is all garbage, fake propaganda being made for an audience, and it's not real.
Meme of the day from the Department of War here, Ruckus. Legacy worth defending. I like it. And they do like their Washington Monument. They do love that obelisk there.
Swing.
Meme of the day of the Department of War. And then the next one here, the big one, huge milestone for AI adoption in the Department of War. Exciting, I know. They say the U.S. Marine Corps is launching mandatory basic AI course for all Marines. Foundational AI literacy ensures our warfighters maintain a decision advantage. AI-ready Marines. Meme of the day and the thumbnail for today's show, part of it. There you go. AI-ready Marines adapt, innovate, dominate the future. Fights with intelligence. We are ready.
What are they like? What kind of special hardcore training is are the Marines getting that us normal folk do? I mean, do they have like oh, I know how to teach my ChatGPT to kill a man with a toothpick? Like, what are they doing?
I don't know, but the AI-ready Marines are being rolled out now, part of their training, basic AI course for all Marines.
Sure. I might enroll just because I'm curious.
Here's a Christian Zionist pastor who's going to tell us about the devil. No, let's watch this. He says the Aardvark people are a people who want to live in peace with their neighbors, and then we'll the next report is about their carpet bombing campaign of their neighbors. But let's hear this. Let's hear this speaker, Christian Zionist preacher, Bishop Robert Stearns.
The ethos, the heart of the people of Israel is a heart for peace. This is a people that I have heard countless thousands of times say, all we want is peace with our neighbors. And when you listen to the lies, when you listen to the propaganda that is being promulgated through the Muslim Brotherhood, through Qatar, through all of these proxies around the world that paint Israel in this genocidal type of caricature, and yet you get on the ground and you hear time after time from person after person, we simply want to live in peace in this tiny land that we occupy as the only Jewish state, the only Jewish nation in the world. And so that's the message that we bring back to the world, is that the Israeli people are a people who want to live in peace with.
Is there a special place in hell for these lying preachers or what, dude?
No such thing, unfortunately. It's just hell. So that's fun because that's pretty neat how he says what you land on the ground there as a Christian, presumably, and then you learn all about how they XYZ. Is that before or after they're spitting on you for being a Christian after landing? Anyways,
He said that doesn't happen, and it's just Muslim Brotherhood propaganda.
I've seen the videos, I've heard the stories, I've heard tales from people that I trust. So, F off with that.
They just want peace there, bro. Aardvark forces raid villages in Syria. Earlier today, Aardvark forces stormed the towns in Syria, establishing checkpoints and obscuring civilian movement. Aardvarkland military vehicles reportedly entered the area, positioned themselves, and set up checkpoints. But that's what you do when you want peace with your neighbor, is you bring in your military vehicles and set up checkpoints. Here's some more of this peaceful.
The yellow zone is for shooting in the head only and unloading. Or sorry.
Here's some more of this peaceful activity. They're leveling Lebanon as we speak. And Iran, we can't have a peace deal as long as Aardvark land is continuing the leveling of Lebanon, the carpet bombing campaigns. Iran's never going to go for this deal. And so that always seems to be left out of the reporting here in the mainstream of America, kind of a key sticking point. You're still whacking all of these Lebanese. Iran says, no, we're not putting up with that. The peaceful neighbors. This is Lebanon. Earlier today, where reports Lebanon's national news agency reports one person killed, 17 staff injured, including 10 nurses and hospital staff in an airstrike a short while ago, I'd say in the last 24 hours, near Hiram Hospital. They're in southern Lebanon. So again, as we continue to report, a systematic campaign targeting Lebanese public health infrastructure is being carried out right now. Anybody with a Band-Aid, they'll whack at this point, Ruckus.
Well, I'd rip that Band-Aid off right now, then.
Continuing airstrikes going on. At least 15 people were killed and 70 wounded in Aardvark land airstrikes across Lebanon over the past 24 hours, according to the Lebanese Ministry of Health. Since March 2nd, 3,700 Lebanese have been killed, 11,483 wounded.
Thank God for that ceasefire.
There's no ceasefire. They're stacking Lebanese bodies. And in reply, and this is the excuse, because you always say, well, what's their excuse? They put out some excuses. They say it's Hezbollah. Everybody's Hezbollah, just like all the Palestinians are Hamas. All of the Lebanese are Hezbollah, you see, and it's a perfect excuse to go ahead and carry out genocide. Hezbollah.
And here come the Houthis.
Hezbollah has launched numerous retaliations here now, defending the sovereign territory of Lebanon, even though the official Lebanese army seems hamstrung to do so. Hezbollah militia they continue to launch counter operations against Aardvark land occupation forces. They launched 4 here in one announcement, 4 operations, another 3, and so ongoing defensive self-defense strikes against Aardvark land, to use the CENTCOM language there. Ongoing. It's ongoing. It's fluid shooting war. And then we have from New York, from the Knicks game last night, here's a prominent Zionist, Jerry Seinfeld, where he's asked about they ask him to say free Palestine. This one's just a clip. He says it doesn't exist. It still exists, but barely. They're making it where it doesn't exist.
That's the older.
Oh, Jerry.
What up, Seinfeld? What up? Can we get a free Palestine? Can we get a free Palestine? Come on, give us one free Palestine.
It doesn't exist.
Neither does that guy's career anymore. Hey.
They're still carrying out the genocide there in Gaza. I know you're like, I want some dead Palestinians in this news. Yeah, well, they are. There's ceasefire there, but over the past 24 hours, 7 Palestinians have been injured. According to the Palestinian Ministry of Health, a number of victims are still underneath rubble as the ongoing bombing campaigns against the Palestinians in Gaza continue. Since the October 11th ceasefire, 981 Palestinians have been killed, 3,111 injured, and how many from the rubble? We don't even know. They're still digging them out of the rubble, but we're almost past the 73,000 mark of dead Palestinians official number. I do believe it's way higher than that. The cumulative total of dead Palestinians since October 7th, 2023 is 72,991. Injured Palestinians is 173,219, according to the Palestinian Ministry of Health. And I do believe those are underreported. That's the official number now, and they're still pulling people out of the rubble and so on. Ruckus.
Yeah, well, the Greater Israel Project is good to the last drop, we'll just say, the last body drop.
Here's trader, ambassador to Aardvarkland, Mike Huckabee. He says the best friends that Aardvarkland has are Bible-believing evangelical Christians, especially from America.
And it's one of the reasons that I'm so grateful that the Foreign Ministry is the sponsor, and I'm not surprised, because they realize that the best friends that Israel has are Bible-believing evangelical Christians, especially from America, I believe from Europe as well, and the rest of.
We got big problems here.
They know that because they created it that way. They made that happen, y'all. Anyway.
What do we do about this Pope? Should he be sanctioned and drummed? Pope Leo says Christians cannot believe in Jesus and promote war. That's antiseptic, that's evil, according to their...
No, that's correct. What he's saying is correct.
Not according to Aardvarkland. He's antiseptic by saying such things.
I don't think we're quite there yet, but we're getting there, pretty close. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, how dare he? At least how dare he? How dare he? Who does he think he is?
Final report of the day here. I reported on this yesterday, but I wanted to get your take, Ruckus. Do these Christians deserve what they're getting in the occupied West Bank? Christian village in the occupied West Bank goes up in flames after large-scale ultra-Zionist settler attack, arson attack, essentially. Do they deserve it? This Christian village, 3,000-year-old Christian village there in southern Lebanon, or excuse me, the occupied West Bank. Don't they deserve this attack?
Probably not. I haven't dug too far into this, but there have been a few instances, okay, probably more than a few instances, but this is how this happens, where they'll take these sensational stories of these recent attacks on Christian, well-known Christian sites or whatever, and say, see what Israel just did, and it's terrible, and yes, they just did that to a Christian site, but then you do a little digging. I'm not saying that's the case with this one. I'm just saying you got to be careful with some of these stuff. That you find out, oh, the Christian population had already been displaced years ago, probably thanks to the aardvarks or the settlers or whatever's going on, or possibly Islamic groups. Other people, they might not mean that Christians were there when that happened, but terrible things are happening to Christians, to classic ancient sites of Christianity. I mean, it's like they're just destroying everything, all these holy sites and all of this stuff, and it's pretty wild. Especially after what that dumb Christians are the biggest friends to the Aardvark land or whatever. But come on, if you're really truly a Christian, you have to stop and take the names of things off of it and say, what would Jesus do? Remember when that was popular? They would wear the thing on their band and be like, what would Jesus do? Like, yes, Jesus would probably bomb this Christian land. That's what Jesus would do because, it's helping out our greatest ally. Does that make any sense to you if you're a Christian? No, it shouldn't. Yeah, people are whacked in the head. It's just propaganda. They're victims. It's like the same people believe they're going to put on a face mask, and that's going to stop a microscopic particle from flying back and forth. It's like the classic meme with the mosquito and the chain link fence. You know what I mean? But we saw how that went, right? So here we are dealing with the same kind of stuff. Thanks largely in part to the Schofield Reference Bible and a lot of shenanigans and this whole Zionist project. This whole thing started and funded by the Rothschilds and England and all this fun stuff. It's like, wow, there's a lot of history to this, but it's recent history, not the history you read about in your Bible. Those are two separate things. And this is them trying to cram the two together as if they were peanut butter and jelly. But anyways, I'm rambling, but you get my point. So no, I don't think that the Christians deserved it. I don't think the Christian lands deserve it. I don't think anyone deserves this treatment from Aardvark land, period. I don't care who you are. This is ridiculous. And we lost Sam.
We're back. Well, you may have to be deported here now with that opinion.
Not until I get sanctioned first.
Okay, that's all the reporting we got. Let's just check the headlines. Has anything cracked off? As it looks like Trump's gaming the markets once again, as we've become accustomed to war profiteering. Iran International latest headline says Trump says U.S. reached great deal with Iran, got everything it wanted. U.S. downs Iranian drones after attempted attack on ships in Hormuz. Trump says U.S. got everything it wanted in a great deal with Iran. Iran, not so much. Say what? Latest out of Al Jazeera here now. Trump claims Iran deal to be signed shortly, calls off planned attacks. The U.S. changed tactics. Iran understood. No war, no peace, unsustainable. Oil prices drop as Trump's decision to call off Iran strike eases market fears. Air raid sirens are activated in northern Aardvark land. Trump says Iran also agreed not to buy nuclear weapons. That's all we got for today, Ruckus.
Awesome, and we got the official Q report in the chat. They say that Trump is the head of a military sting operation to save America. Hoorah!
Stop it.
I'm serious. They say the best is yet to come. Even.
Stop it. Just stop it, man.
I believe it.
No, that's not true. As I've said before, if Trump was the real Mr. Populist, reformer, hates corruption, on day one, his first term, he would have taken the U.S. Marshals to the big banks and arrested the CEOs. That didn't happen, so save all of the rest of the psyops for the children. Because this
Why don't we start with something simple? He could just do one or two of the things that he said he was going to do when he got elected. How about that? Let's start there. Yeah?
No, it's a bit much. Okay, over to the channels now. To Odysee, shout out to Deep, Pink Vegas, Huffman. Let's see, make the public itch and watch them scratch. Yeah. Deep says Dallas is going to use facial recognition Boston Dynamic robot dogs for security. I heard perhaps that's what FIFA spent the billions on. Los Angeles is hosting 8 games, so I'm sure SoFi Stadium will have robot dogs as well. Man.
SoFi Stadium. Huh.
SoFi Stadium, right? Let's see here. Oh, they're talking about Aldous Huxley, Brave New World, with pharmaceutical soma and social engineering constructs within. Rothschild Central Banks, they own it all. This is a debt collection. Let's see here. Quite a chat going on there. Shout out to John. I once listened to 1984 audiobook unabridged. It was over 9 hours long. I listened to, you probably can't even say it, so I won't, but that one, My Struggle book by that guy, I listened to that audio version. English translation. Yeah. Don't listen to that, let me tell you. Don't listen to that. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in on the Odysee, X, Kick, Bitchute, Substack, Facebook, Rumble, and YouTube. Let's go over to these chats. Let's see. Shout out to Denver Strong on the Rumble. Let's see. On the YouTube, where they say, get us blue in the White House. That's intelligence. Knows the government docs. Yeah, I don't know what you're even saying. Get us blue.
A Democrat. They're saying that it would be nice if we could get a Democrat who knows the stuff. Well, good luck with all that.
Shout out to Bardo. Bardo he said, Ruckus makes a good point. If we have destroyed the Iranian Navy and defeated their radar and missile corps, why doesn't Trump order ground invasion?
There's that. Plus, why admit that? Why would you say Iran's completely defenseless and we're about to wipe them out? Is that how we normally do things? Or yeah, I don't think that's what you do, right? I don't know.
Taco Don's House of Chicken Nachos. Shout out to A-Dub. Let's see. Shout out from from the Netherlands. There on the YouTube. Shout out to you. Zio, Elon can't be all those things. He's rich, and that is the most moral thing you could be in this world. Obviously. Fascist aids in free handouts. We are forked, Plutonium said. Oh man, we are the test bed before California. Where you're out of Illinois, right? Yeah, it's pretty bad there.
Come to Texas.
A shout out to Mac on the YouTube. Let's see, quite a few comments. Thank you guys for chatting it up there, keeping it lively, cordial. Yeah, I didn't see many trolls. You said you saw a troll there? Telling us to trust the plan.
I'm not calling them a troll. They're just obviously a Q fan.
Oh.
Just helping us. They're just giving us the info, Sam. They're giving us the alpha.
It should have happened a long time ago. If it ever was going to happen. Dang, going down on the YouTube says individuals with dementia, cerebral palsy, Parkinson, they're not even using human tissues.
The good parts of the ARPA-H story, we may have been, or I might have been ribbing them a little too hard, but I mean, it's the organization behind it that is untrustworthy. If you do enough research into ARPA-H and what they're about and how they got started and everything, and you look at similarly these other agencies similar to that. So yeah, there's great potential with a lot of these technologies, but when the military is involved and governments and private partners and conflicts of interests all over the place, and then of course who knows, we got aliens coming, so I would just be wary of all this kind of stuff.
Let's see, their shout out to Pamela. Yeah, where they say Sullivan Cromwell and Dulles firm stacked with Yale Bonesman. Rock says Sons of Canada put the footsteps together that their wealth transfers failed. Snake been in panic mode. Trumpet took the chair. We got our own poets and riddlers in the Weaponized News chat there. Oh, I see Trump. I see it. Trump is destroying the crooked CIA operations, Venezuela, Iran, etc. Notice a trend. Ukraine is a CIA money laundering operation. Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. I would say it's more than CIA, though.
I think it's a hotbed testing ground.
Yeah,
for military tech.
Indeed, just like Gaza. They've said as much, though they're rolling out all this drone new technology. It's the forefront of war, is what they said. Did you hear the ocean current stopped moving? No, I did not hear that.
God, I hope not.
I think if that happened, we'd have a lot bigger problems than what we're talking about here on the show.
I did notice it was pretty hot today. Is that related?
It is summer in the northern hemisphere. That could have something to do with it. Beware the military-industrial complex. Yeah, he also says the scientific elite. If you would listen to the rest of the speech there, and I did focus on that on Memorial Day. Trump is head of a military sting operation to save America. I wish that was true. I just simply don't believe it. Freeing trafficked kids from underground tunnels has been challenging. Then they just there was a bunch of more tunnels, some weird tunnel thing there in New York with aardvarks. That
I don't think the aardvarks were involved in that.
They weren't.
There was just a drug tunnel thing that was quite expansive, though, from what I understand.
KGB is not targeted properly enough, in my humble opinion, Fat Bob says. All right. Any final thoughts, Ruckus? And we'll sign off this broadcast.
Real quick, you may have seen a clip of a guy doing shape-shifting eyes. Have you seen this guy?
No, I haven't seen that.
He's gone viral. I don't even think he's legit. Anyways, but there's one particular video that's making the rounds in a lot of reports from alternative and independent media who sees this and they're freaking out. But I think it's just a fake viral story going around, especially when it's combined with the fact or the idea that this guy may have gotten himself in a brain chip. I've seen this in some of these videos, but the viral video that you may have seen is him in a street, like it looks like New York, Central Square, one of those areas, and there's a bunch of people around him. And everybody's freaking out over him doing this trick with his eyes where he can shape-shift his eyes and stuff like that. And it's a fairly convincing video, and everyone's going goo-goo gaga about it. Folks, all you have to do is, as the camera's moving around, hit pause and read the words that you see in the video, like on the street signs, on the people's shirts, and you're like, am I looking at an alien language? Is this Klingon? It's because it's AI. The video is AI, and y'all are falling for the same crap again. But anyways. Just wanted to bring that up because I've seen a lot of people that I trust passing that along. It's like, dude, this guy's literally changing. I'm like, no, just pause, take a snapshot. You can see it's all messed up. It's not real. But anyways, the guy allegedly has his own social media platform where he's talking and his elbows changing now. And I'm like, it's probably all AI. The whole thing is probably being run some troll or CIA operation. Just wanted to warn everybody. We'll probably be seeing a lot more of that because the AI is getting better. But always question everything, which is what Bill Cooper taught us. He said, read everything, listen to everybody. Don't believe anything unless you can prove it for yourself using your own research. And thanks for having me, Sam.
Thank you, Ruckus. Some final comments there. They say, Ruckus, the great reset wealth transfer rock on the Rumble.
I'm not doing it. It's not my fault. Don't blame me. It's the other guy. It's Biden. Biden did it.
They say Beyond Imagination covered at length by Greg Manarino.
Shout out to Greg Manarino. Yes.
Yep. All right, friends. As always, everybody do your own research. Peace, love, and freedom. Speak on, take action. Have a great rest of your Thursday evening. We'll be back here on Friday for more Weaponized News. Let's pray for peace. Hope this thing's real. I don't see how it could be when we can't get Aardvark land to stop genociding. But if they do decide to, somehow, some way, magically, by the supernatural power of God over here and the universe, we can have some peace, then maybe it can be a thing. But I have serious reservations about it because I just don't see Aardvark land stopping their expansion per their own statements. They pretty much have said, we're doing this thing, taking this land. Whoever's in the way, leave or die. And so I don't see them changing that agenda, regardless of what Trump feels about the Iran war. They're hell-bent. They're religious fanatics who say they're here to bring about prophecy. And regardless if you believe any of it or not, believe they believe it. I believe they believe it through their actions, Ruckus. And that's about all I got to say. I just don't see it happening per their actions and own statements that we continue to report on here at Weaponized News. As always, everybody have a great rest of your evening, and we'll be back here on Friday for more